Hi, we're Jen and Chris Coursey, and today we want to talk to you about the fact that you're probably experiencing grief right now, even though you may not be aware of it. In truth, we're all experiencing a lot of loss. Loss of routine, loss of familiarity, loss of our freedom to go get a cup of coffee or go out to dinner at a restaurant on a date night, loss of the option of a babysitter, all of those kinds of things, loss of connections with friends and family, being isolated in our houses. It just makes for a lot of loss, which really is grief.
You know, it is grief, and a lot of us don't realize that this is part of why we feel so disconnected, so restless, our cravings are high. This is attachment pain. This is our brain is processing feeling alone, and this is really hard pain to process. And what makes it worse is we don't know when the end is in sight because your brain looks back to predict the future. So I'm looking in the rearview mirror to figure out what's ahead. And so as I look back, and I'm trying to figure out what's around the corner, it's not very joyful in many ways in our world. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of fear and there's a lot of anxiety over the unknown. Mm-hmm. And what happens when these big feelings arise is it can knock off the relational center in our brain, what we call the brain's master switch. And when the master switch goes down, your brain wants to focus on and amplify the upset, right? The distress. It makes it really hard to stay relational and to be engaged with the people that you interact with. So that's not good. And what happens is this kind of pain makes all the other kind of pain that we're experiencing bigger. So maybe I didn't sleep well last night and I'm grumpy, but when I'm in the pain of loss, then these feelings get bigger. So the very thing I need right now is a little bit elusive in that I need to rest and I need to quiet. But that's sometimes the last thing you want to do when you're feeling this way, right? But it is very important that we all press that pause button that we've talked about before in these videos and just remember to breathe, remember to quiet. And there's a few more things that we can do. You want to tell us?
Well, so all of these things feel worse when we feel alone. And so there's a lot of things we can actually do to feel more connected with people despite the times that we're in. So a phone call to a friend, a video chat, sharing a joyful story. We shared last week how you can tell a joy story, and sharing a joy story with a friend would help. We could take a walk, doing something fun with those in your household if you're not isolated by yourself, or even if you are, you might have a little puppy or kitty that you can snuggle with, and that could bring some joy. We also offer online practice community events. We've got one coming up in April where you can meet some new people and practice some of these skills, or you can do one of the recorded ones with a friend. Another great thing to help you feel connected is to spend some time in prayer with Jesus, listening to him.
You know, a wise man once said, we have to pray just to make it today. And so what we need to do here, one of the best ways to have some interactive prayer, what is called the Emmanuel lifestyle. You start out by just remembering God's gifts and God's presence. So I might pause and just say, you know what? Thank you, God, for your gifts. Thank you for Jen and our new bundle of joy, Bella. And Lord, I just thank you that I can enjoy these gifts, that these gifts are here with me, and I feel comforted and secure just enjoying these gifts today. And so as I think about and feel God's gifts and God's presence and these God moments, what happens is I feel peaceful. And now I can start sharing my peace with Jesus, who is the Prince of Peace. So I might say, Lord, what's on your mind here as I enjoy your peace, as I think about your gifts and your presence? And I might sense just God's delight, just a big smile on God's face as I enjoy his gifts. And thinking about that image that just kind of pops into my mind, I feel peaceful, I feel hopeful, I feel comforted, I feel anchored. And you know what? As I feel that and I enjoy God's peace and God's presence, then I can share it. So I want to share my peace. And so I'm going to share that story with Jen, and I'm going to share it with my sons and just say, you know, I just had this beautiful picture today in my head of God's face just delighting and smiling over me as I remembered his gifts. So that is a gift that keeps on giving. We want to share that peace with others.
For more on that process, you can check out the Passing the Peace book. We also recently did a webinar on Passing the Peace that you can find on the Thrive Today website or Facebook page, and the Joyful Journey book that can walk you through some of that interactive prayer with Emmanuel. You're not the only one hurting right now. You're not the only one struggling. There's others out there that are also struggling, and we would love your help getting this resource in their hands. We decided to make these videos to just kind of be a bright spot in people's day, to give them some encouragement, and to give them something practical they can do to influence their mood and the mood in their household. So we would love your help with sharing this with others.